You know how it is when life gets heavy? And let's be real, it gets heavy for all of us. Our default setting, a lot of the time, just clicks into survival mode. We just do what we have to do, right? We put one foot in front of the other and just try to hold it all together. And that's fine. It's necessary even. But wow, is it exhausting. And if we're being really honest with ourselves, that feeling of just gutting it out, well, it can start to bleed into our spiritual lives too. You can get to this place where your faith starts to feel less like a lifeline and more like just one more heavy thing on your to-do list, another thing you have to endure. Okay, so let's dig into this a little bit, because over time, even our best efforts, trying to be faithful, trying to be obedient, it can all start to feel really strained, kind of mechanical. And if we're not careful, it becomes completely joyless. It's just this constant, grinding effort of trying. Yeah, there's actually a name for this whole cycle of self-effort. It's called mechanical Christianity. And the definition is pretty simple, but it's powerful. It's that voice inside your head that says, okay, I know what the right thing to do is, so I'm just going to have to force myself to do it. It's all about sheer willpower.
So this really sets up two completely different paths for us internally, especially when things get tough. On one hand, you've got that road of willpower, of just trying harder. But then there's this other path that Jesus talks about, the path of abiding.
And this right here just shows the difference so clearly. Look at the willpower voice on the left. I just need to keep it together. Or if I were stronger, this wouldn't feel so hard. It's all about self-reliance, which, let's be honest, usually ends in self-blame. But now look at the voice of abiding on the right. Jesus, I need your patience. Lord, let your life in me shape how I respond. See the difference? One is all about me and it leads to burnout. The other is a conversation and it leads to a real relationship.
And thankfully, Jesus doesn't just point out the problem and leave us there. He gives us a brand new picture, a whole new way to think about where our strength really truly comes from. He lays out this incredible metaphor for us in the Gospel of John, chapter 15. And here it is, the Christian life isn't powered by our grit and determination. It's not about trying harder. It's sustained by being connected, united with Christ. And this is so important to remember, especially when you're in one of those long seasons of pressure or grief, those times where it feels like you're just running on fumes.
Just let that sink in for a second. I am the vine, you are the branches. He's completely reordering our whole idea of what spiritual strength even is. He's not telling us to go out and produce fruit. He's inviting us to just be a branch, to stay connected to the source of all life.
But let's be real. There's a part of that verse that can be a little tough to hear. It's the phrase that kind of trips us up, the part that our performance-driven brains can really misunderstand. We've got to rethink what it means to be weak.
Apart from me, you can do nothing. For a lot of us, that just lands like a threat, doesn't it? It sounds like this harsh judgment on our inadequacy, a criticism that we're not strong enough on our own.
But what if we've been hearing it all wrong? What if that's not what Jesus means at all? What if it's not a threat meant to shame us, but a liberating, freeing invitation to finally stop trying to do it all on our own?
So this is the absolute key, right here. Our neediness isn't a design flaw, it is the design. Jesus doesn't look at a branch and get angry at it for needing the vine. That's how it's supposed to work. The problem isn't that you need life, the problem is where you're trying to get it from.
And when we finally accept that invitation, when we make that switch from striving to abiding, well, something really profound starts to happen. This dependence, this leaning in, it actually leads to incredible life. Let me show you what I mean. Think about it. A branch doesn't strain and stress out to produce a grape. It just receives life from the vine. The fruit is just the natural, unforced result of that connection. And it's the exact same for us. Things like patience, joy, and love, you can't manufacture those through sheer willpower. They are received, not made. They just grow when we stay connected to the source.
So this all sounds great in theory, but the big question is, how do we actually do this? How do we take this from a nice idea and make it real, especially in the middle of a chaotic, stressful day? Well, it can start with one really small, practical step. It really just starts with a tiny shift in our inner monologue. So instead of gritting your teeth and thinking, I just have to get this done, you can just pause, take a single breath, and pray, Lord, let your life in me shape this moment. See? It's a simple move from self-reliance to dependence, right in the middle of the pressure.
And here is a simple, powerful little breath prayer you can carry with you absolutely anywhere. The next time you feel that strain, that frustration, that exhaustion, just pause and pray this: I am the branch, you are the vine. It's not a magic formula, it's a declaration of what's true. It's a reminder that your job isn't to produce the life, it's simply to receive it.